Breaking news with a major development just moments ago. Sources just confirmed to CNN that the United States has seized an oil tanker that had been linked to Venezuela. Now, Russia is responding to the seizure, saying they are the owners of this vessel. The Trump administration has not acknowledged the Russian status, claiming the ship to be stateless, but nevertheless, you can see the sensitive nature of the situation. Russia had sent ships to track and maybe even protect this vessel over the last 24 hours. The United States has been tracking it across the Atlantic. It's the same ship that the Coast Guard had tried to seize last month near Venezuela. They were unable to board it, and the ship changed course and fled. But now, the breaking news, the United States has seized it. Nick Robertson tracking the developments for us. Nick, what are you learning?
Yeah, over the last few days, John, U.S. Air Force has been flying P-8 surveillance aircraft tracking this ship as it came into the northern Atlantic. It's been heading sort of skirting wide of Ireland, heading up towards Iceland and that sort of gap to go towards the north of Russia, the Arctic Circle. Marine tracking experts believe a vessel of this size was likely headed towards Murmansk. That was the track that it was on, but that all came to a sudden screeching halt about 2.5 hours ago. Marine trackers noticing that the ship turned direction at that moment, and this really comports with the information we're getting now that the ship has been seized by US military and Coast Guard. It has been tracked closely by them, as we say, since it fled the coast of Venezuela about 2 weeks ago. What makes this even more interesting, if you will, the ship, when it started its journey 2 weeks ago, was called the Bella One. Halfway along that route, it changed its name to the Marinera and reflagged itself as Russian. Not clear why. Were they trying to get protection from Russia? Was it always Russian? Unclear. The port that it appeared to be headed for in the past couple of days does appear to have been a Russian port. But now that ship has turned around, no longer heading north, for the last couple of hours heading south. Not clear where it will end up. It is believed to be empty, or at least devoid of oil. We don't know what else or who else may be on board of it, but certainly enough for Russia to deploy military assets to try to give it some shadow of some kind of protection, and clearly not enough to deter the US Coast Guard and the US military assets that seized it a few hours ago, John.
News Nation's Kelly Meyer is here with us in studio. And Kelly, China, who is a direct ally of Venezuela, but has had close relationships with Caracas over the years anyway, is now responding, right?
Yeah, and that was one we were watching for. We weren't sure if we were going to hear from them today even on this, but it's interesting too because China is the largest importer of Venezuelan oil, and President Trump was saying that, you know, the U.S. is going to be taking control of Venezuelan oil reserves, and this is what China had to say in reaction. We have this statement. China is deeply shocked by and strongly condemns the U.S. blatant use of force against a sovereign state and action against its president. Such homogenic acts of the U.S. seriously violate international law and Venezuela's sovereignty and threaten peace and security in Latin America and the Caribbean region. China firmly opposes it. We call on the U.S. to abide by international law and the purposes and principles of the UN Charter and stop violating other countries' sovereignty and security.
A growing number of children are being admitted to hospitals suffering from severe malnutrition. In the highest district alone, dozens of cases have been recorded in just over a month. This report has more.
In Yemen's Hodeidah Governorate, the pediatric ward in Hayes district is facing a growing humanitarian emergency. Over a 40-day period, more than 70 children have been admitted with severe malnutrition and related complications, most of them from remote, conflict-affected villages where food insecurity is a daily reality. Inside the therapeutic nutrition department, the atmosphere is heavy. Mothers sit by their children's bedsides, watching over tiny, fragile bodies fighting for life. For many of these babies, just a few milliliters of milk and consistent doses of therapeutic food can mean the difference between recovery and death.
سوء التغذية هو مرض نعاني منه كثيرا في تهامة بسبب
Malnutrition is an illness affecting so many, and it's caused by widespread food insecurity and the weakened health of mothers who can't feed their babies. It's a serious issue we face daily, made even worse by the extreme heat and other complications.
Famine is worsening in Sudan. We know of 2 more regions now in crisis as that country's civil war rages on. There's a new report that says famine has been confirmed in El Fasher, that is a major city in Darfur, and Kadugli, which is the capital of South Kordofan. Both of them are under siege by paramilitary forces, cutting off food and aid for months now. The reports also say hunger and malnutrition have reached catastrophic levels.
So happy to be here once again. 53rd SF Pride Parade, the second year right here at ABC 7.
So happy to be here, and it is such a privilege to be able to live in this space where there is community and there is joy. And
to see everyone here, it's a reminder that our joy cannot be stopped.
Put your hands up if you feel real good. Feel like everybody know you should. Put your hands up if you feel real nice. If you feel that
we love you, we respect you, we care about you. Whether you're here or not, we're together in spirit.
People of all ages is here to support the community, and it's beautiful.
A great crowd, the atmosphere.
This is Ari, Gwendolyn and Brynnifer. They are in a polyamorous relationship, and they all parent Hazel and Sparrow.
We have a 2-year-old antigender baby and a 10-year-old who is non-binary.
They have chosen not to disclose Sparrow's gender.
We don't know it yet. It's something that Sparrow's going to have to figure out and then tell us.
But their parenting approach is controversial. These polyamorous parents let their children choose their gender. And for their oldest child, Hazel, that's neither male nor female.
Please tell us how and why you decided to come out as non-binary.
Because the pronouns she and he did not fit. Non-binary was what I turned to, though I do choose to act and look more feminine.
Can I go down now?
Of course.
And 2.5-year-old Sparrow has yet to make a choice about their gender.
Sparrow, do you want a banana?
They're antigender, but we're using they, them pronouns. Sure, they have anatomy, we understand it, but that's not indicative of their identity. It's something that Sparrow's gonna have to figure out and then tell us before we can tell anyone else.
Particularly because it's, something that our parents did and they got it wrong.
This is how most mornings start for the Clausens.
Are you gonna drink all your milk? Okay.
One by one, the kids come to the kitchen, get some breakfast, and talk with each other. The youngest member of their family, Karen, is 9. And like most 9-year-olds, she has a big imagination and a lot of energy. This is where Karen is free to be whoever she wants to be. She shows us around her bedroom and all the artwork on her walls.
I got those at a pride festival.
Karen is transgender. Assigned male at birth, her family started noticing something was different about their child whenever she was a toddler.
A lot of that was happening before she had a ton of words. She would put on tutus and put on dresses from our dress-up bin. She wouldn't leave the house without one of those on.
Her brother at one point saying something very poignant in this home video.
Really pretty girl. Yeah.
Years later, that childhood remark has become the Clausen family's reality. The Clausens say all the decisions they've made for their daughter, Karen, have come at the advice of doctors.
I didn't go to medical school. My wife didn't go to medical school. So we trust them, and we trust that they know what's best for our kids.
And two, you might think this man in a bulletproof vest with a gun in his hip is a police officer, but actually he's the owner of a Chicago jewelry store, just trying to protect his business from looters. He talked to CBS 2's Suzanne Lamignot today, and Suzanne, he doesn't feel safe.
Brad, he says he and other business owners fear for their safety. Just 2 weeks ago, he got all of his windows replaced that had been broken in the first round of looting, so he could reopen for business, and then what you're about to see happened. It's around 3:30 in the morning on Monday. 3 young men are captured on video walking back and forth in front of a window at Imperial Jewelry at 1 North Wabash. One of the men tries to break the window with a large rock. It doesn't work. A second try does the trick, but the alarm goes off too. About 30 minutes later, owner Terry T. arrives at his store. He surveys the damage done by the extremely large rock.
Straight through the showcase.
At that moment, a young man runs back to the window while T is standing there.
He actually ran to get the other boulder outside, because I looked outside and there was a boulder, but there was a guy running towards that boulder to grab it.
You think they went next door to break the windows there?
Definitely.
T, wearing a bulletproof vest, puts his hand on his gun.
I wasn't going to pull out the gun, but I have it just in case something were to happen.
T specializes in bridal jewelry. His store has been a fixture at the Chicago Landmark Diamond Center since it opened on Jewelers Row 12 years ago.
We still find glass from the last time it happened.
But she was up around 4:30 this morning, and this is what she saw. This is the Apple store that presumably was re-hit, I should say, because the windows were already broken when this group ran in, and then you see them running back out.
And this is the Apple store north in Clybourne,
Correct.
We should say.
So this is further north, yeah.
Yep.
So as Judy mentioned, she went down Clybourne, so she would have passed right by this on her way into downtown this morning.
And breaking tonight, police investigating a heist from a freight train on the city's west side. Happened this afternoon near Cicero and Lake, and it was caught on camera by Skycam 9.
WGN's Courtney Spinelli joins us live from the 25th Police District with details. Courtney.
Yeah, good evening to you both. Throughout the afternoon and the evening, officers with several agencies have been scouring that area, trying to track down any suspects allegedly involved, while also working to secure that freight train, which is several miles long. We can tell you as of tonight, Union Pacific says at least 6 people have been arrested in connection to this, and some merchandise has already been recovered.
We got a lot of people detained over here.
This was the scene unfolding Friday afternoon near Lake in Lockwood. You can see close to 24 people in video from Skycam 9 stealing boxes, including flat screen TVs, and loading them into vehicles nearby.
Christianity is under assault, and there's no question about it. Right. Go worldwide, first of all. We are by far the most persecuted religion, by far, around the world. It doesn't get the press it deserves, but you go to countries around in Africa and Asia and various places. Christians, especially Catholics, are really under intense persecution. In our country, here's a stat. In the last, I believe it's 7 years, it's 2018, attacks on Catholic churches, so vandalism, arson.
35 faith leaders are calling on President Trump to act on the deadly persecution of Christians in Nigeria. Since 2009, over 52,000 Christians have been killed, including 7,000 this year. More than 18,000 churches have been burned since 2009, and over 5 million Christians have been displaced.
Fox News contributor Raymond Arroyo joins us now. Raymond, I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad we're doing this topic. We don't speak enough about the persecution of Christians in the world, the #1 persecuted religion in the world. What can you tell us about what's going on in Nigeria and why we've been so slow to respond?
Well, first of all, just to put this in context, if you put together all the Christians persecuted for their faith around the globe, Rachel, they do not compute to the high numbers in Nigeria. As Charlie just mentioned, 52,000 killed since 2009. That equals, there's a group called Inter-Society, which does pretty good polling on the ground. They say that's about 35 Christians killed every day. Okay, 3 churches are destroyed every day in this area. And look, it's a combination. In northern Nigeria, you have both Muslims and Christians being killed. But in the Middle Belt and elsewhere, it's all Christians being slaughtered.